Hey, I just wanted to make a quick video because I think so oftentimes we are hurt by people and we expect for the same people who broke us to fix us. And I'm not really sure how we think that's supposed to work. Like, we look for an apology from them or an acknowledgement from them. We look for them to say, oh, I hurt you. I'm sorry. I'll do better. And then we look for them to do certain things or say certain things that will make our pain go away. Well, there are two main problems with that. If they broke you, how do you think they have the capacity to fix what they broke? Secondly, if they hurt you and it was a purposeful and intentional pain that they caused you, do you think they care about fixing your pain? Do you think that they actually care enough to acknowledge and to admit and to say, I'm sorry? I don't think a lot of people actually give that any thought, and I was on Facebook the other day, and there was a meme that said sometimes you have to be okay with the apology that you never got. And so I had a cousin of mine commented and said, you can't just tell people to get over it. You can't just tell people to move on. And while I acknowledge the truth in that statement, like, you can't tell someone to get over it, you can't tell them to move on. But what you have to tell them is that forgiveness is a conscious decision that you make for yourself so that you can be free from the self-imposed prison that you've placed yourself in. Because when people hurt us, they don't care about our reaction to it. They don't care how their actions affected us. They could care less most of the time. Other times, yeah, some people care, but most of the time they don't. And so you have to come to a place within yourself, and I'm speaking from experience, but you have to come to a place within yourself where you say, you know what, I'm not going to allow this to dictate my life. I'm not going to allow this to dictate my actions. I'm not going to allow this to dictate my response. I'm not going to be trapped here. I'm not going to dwell here. I'm not going to settle here. I'm not going to move into this place and make this a place of comfort. Because sometimes we get so attached to our pain and so attached to our bitterness and our hurt that it becomes comfortable for us. And so it becomes comfortable and it becomes familiar. And change is hard. I'll be the first person to admit that. Change is definitely something that is not really easy to do. But sometimes it's very necessary, especially in the event where you've been hurt and you're stuck in that place and you're looking at people and you're going, don't you see you hurt me? Don't you see that I need an apology from you? Sometimes you have to write a letter and burn it up. Sometimes you have to talk to the walls and tell the walls how you feel about the person who hurt you. But sometimes you just got to learn to be okay with the apology that you never got. And it takes a long time and it takes a lot of work to get to that place. And a lot of people don't want to do the work that it takes to heal from brokenness and from bitterness and from anger and frustration and hurt and pain and disappointment and disillusionment and all that stuff. But I'm telling you from experience that if you actually take the time to do the work and take the time to heal you, take the time to choose you, you have to choose yourself above and beyond all, because if you don't choose you and if you don't take care of you, who else will? Nobody. And it took a long time for me to get to that place because I operated from a place of hatred and hurt and bitterness and anger and frustration. And I was mad at the world for a long time because things happened to me that I had no effect over. And I didn't feel like anybody protected me. And so I spent a lot of time waiting for my mom to apologize and for my dad to apologize and for the people who molested me to apologize and for the people who hurt me to apologize, not realizing that those were apologies I would never receive. And so I went through years of counseling because I suffered from depression behind it. And I suffered all this mental torture and anger and all these emotions behind stuff that I was waiting and expected an apology for that I never received. And so one day I got up and I said, you know what? I'm tired of being a victim. I'm tired of being a victim. And so I'm no longer going to allow myself to be repeatedly victimized by people who could care less that they hurt me in the first place. And I did the work. Like, for a long time I couldn't smile. I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror because I didn't like what was looking back at me. I suffered from low self-esteem and all of that. And today I'm in so much a better place and a better headspace, and I am doing things for myself now. And I just want to encourage you that even if you never receive an apology from the people who hurt you, you gotta learn to be okay with it. And you gotta learn to say, I don't need you to apologize to be whole. So allow me, one, to apologize for them. I'm sorry that whoever hurt you to the place that it broke you. I apologize for them not caring enough to see that they hurt you. I am sorry for anybody who refuses to acknowledge your pain. Your pain is valid. What you feel is valid. You have the right to feel what you feel. Just don't get stuck there. Don't get stuck there. If you have to go to counseling, and a lot of times black people, we have a bad habit of telling people don't seek counseling because prayer works. And I will be the first person to tell you that yes, prayer works. Yes, prayer changes things, but sometimes you need to go and you need to talk to somebody. You need to go and you need to say, hey, you know what? I'm broken. I can't deal. I don't know how to deal. I can't. And have someone that's unbiased listen to you, and they can tell you things from a fresh perspective and a clear perspective that maybe you didn't see or you didn't realize. But do the work. Forgive them for yourself. Forgiveness is not for them. It's not for the person who hurt you. I guarantee you it's not. It is so that you can free yourself from the bounds and the chains and the shackles of your self-imposed prison, and that you can begin to be the best you that you were created to be, because God did not create you to suffer. He did not create you to live a life of pain. He created you to be the best you that you could be for whatever purpose He has designed for your life. But you can't find your purpose, can't find your destiny, you can't find the best you if you're stuck in your past. It happened. It happened. I acknowledge that. Acknowledge it and move on from it. Be healed, be delivered, and be set free. I love you. That was on top, and I just wanted to make this quick video and get that out. So to whoever needed this today, I am praying for you. I'm praying that God opens up your eyes and that God gives you a heart to forgive. Even when it's tough, even when it's hard, I pray that He gives you a heart to even forgive yourself for things that you've done to let you down. Until next time.